Hi chat. Welcome in everyone. Hoarders and not. I'm okay with sprinkle hoarders. Welcome chat. Welcome. Happy Monday to you. Hope you've had a good start to your week. Is it fixed now, Buns? Or do I still sound far away to you? Hello, Will. Hello, Cosmic. Welcome, Ozzy. Happy to see you, Buns. Great to see you, JK. Welcome. Kitchen's still a mess. It's a bourbon chicken. You were gonna ask me about the mess? Hi, Nan Reader. My store's idea of baby bok choy. Not necessarily so baby. Man. Oh, I already did that the other day. I've had a couple morning coffees. Well, I've had a coffee morning since then too. But thank you for the reminder, Buns. I bought too much coffee. I thought I was out of bags of coffee here at home today, and I was in the store and it was on sale, like I said, about once a month it's on a sale somewhere. And I bought 2 more bags because it was on sale, and I was figuring I didn't have one at home, and so now I've got 3 bags. There is an optimal time for having coffee after having it been roasted. Like coffee, after it's been roasted, you don't want to have coffee that the roaster finished that day. You want to give it, a week or something like that but you don't want to, at the same time, it is degrading the whole time. It's just that peak beginning period, you want to skip that. And now that I've given myself entirely too long of a bloom, and we'll have a much less interesting pour. Camera, why you stop following me? Silly camera. So we got anyone cooking along with me tonight? We got anyone else that picked up ingredients? I put the recipe for what I'm doing in the Discord for today. Neither. Though I do once in a while get a strong urge for some Dunkin'. Like maybe once a year, once every couple of years. I just gotta have a cup of Dunkin'. It's like, it's not even like normal coffee. It's like, it's almost got this like peanut flavor. And Starbucks, I've drank Starbucks here and there. And I drank it quite a bit when I was in college and stuff like that. And it's drinkable, but it's just way too oily. It's way too burnt for me. It would annoy me no end too, because I would go like first thing in the morning when they opened at like 6 in the morning, and they would only have one coffee ready. It would be like their darkest roast. Yeah, I was thinking of doing a little bit. This is sort of like just a recent idea that I was like, why don't I just let the bot do that? Like I was saying, I used to do like cook along themes like once a month the first like year I was streaming or something like that. And it was just a pain in the butt because it was several pages of me writing and figuring out, everything and designing a menu that everyone can use. And instead, this way I can just go to, ChatGPT and be like, hey, write me a recipe with equipment lists and, stuff that everyone has to make this recipe, and then approve or disapprove or edit it. That is so much quicker and so much easier. Well, we're not using one of those, Michael. I have one too. I have one, but I don't use it a lot. Thank you for joining me tonight, everyone. Cheers. So I'm just going to follow the recipe actually here tonight. Cook the rice. How much rice am I cooking? 1 cup. I went out and got proper jasmine rice and realized what my mix-up with the old one was. And now I'm much more interested in having more of the old one. I'm not interested in really selling the name of the company, but so this is what I had bought previously and was like, wow, that jasmine tastes a little bit different from normal. I had totally spaced over one word. I didn't realize at all that this was brown rice until I was sitting there at the store today, looking at the labels of what was there, and realized, that's strange. They have 2 jasmine organic rice, and this one was funky. What was... So I'm glad that there isn't something funky or weird about that rice after all. But it wasn't what I was expecting the last time I used it. Let's make some rice. We need more stock for our sauce later here, but I'm going to use what stock I have left over in my bag for this rice as well. So I have a defrosted bag of chicken stock here. And sometimes the bag just doesn't want to open for me. Nope, that ain't gonna work for me tonight either. You know what? Forget it. I'm using the old bag anyways. Where is the other one? It's not in the fridge, is it? It is in the fridge. I have those pickled onions from the other night in it. Let's see, cup of rice. This should be just about perfect to begin with, but we'll need a little bit more to go along with this. I guess it's a chicken stock slushy. Chat, does anyone want a chicken stock slushie? Just curious. Come on, it looks just like a Pepsi Slurpee. It's just chicken stock. So we're bringing that up to a boil. I am not going to rinse this rice. You can feel free to follow the directions and rinse the rice as they suggest. If you're using a rice that, especially if you're buying rice in bulk, you tend to need to rinse it out, and it's because you get a lot more starch, like ground. The rice has been grinding against each other and turning itself into powder, and you need to get rid of all that excess powder. Because I'm lazy, Buns. And I know that this rice typically washes pretty clear. And I bought it in a small, cute little bag rather than a 20-pound bag. Though that said, I do intend on buying another large bag of it. I just finished off my bag recently. While that's heating up, we'll slice our baby, sort of baby bok choy in half. toaster trying to get me to spill my coffee. Let me give this a cover for a moment. No to both. I have never been a big, like, I've never disliked pop. I mean, pop music is like designed for everyone to love it. But I don't love it. They all find the same pattern of sort of like going insane, and then some of them make it through it. Wait, Oreos have flavor? I sort of think of Oreos as more of a texture these days. You've got the crunchy, maybe slightly chocolatey cookies or wafers, and then you have the white sugary paste that I don't even think has vanilla in it anymore. Is the music popping for anyone else? Is it like almost a little staticky to anyone? It has been for me tonight in my ear, and it's sort of driving me nuts. Thank you, Michael. That greatly reassures me that it's probably just a Bluetooth issue. Alright, so next we're going to make our sauce, our bourbon sauce. So we need a bowl for that. Oh, you're ecstatic about it, Buns? We're gonna call that a quarter cup of bourbon. The well bourbon of the house is currently Buffalo Trace. Which I just opened. I know I bought it the other day. Ooh. How much soy sauce? Quarter cup. Let's see here. We need our brown sugar and our ketchup. Welcome, Pinto. Hello, Helix. Gonna have to tune on Wednesday to find that out, Pinto. Though there is a picture of them in the walk-in chat of Discord. Am I a Heinz purist? Sort of. Like, I've tried several other types of ketchups. I'm not like diehard, you know, it has to be Heinz. But most of them suck. I guess I haven't tried like Hunt's, but like all of the like store brand name stuff like that, and they're generally not. Typically, it's pretty much the same. Ketchup doesn't. It's sort of like Coke. You know, I think they're keeping the real thing to themselves when it comes to Heinz. Now that said, I'm not above attempting to try and make my own. But I realize when I try and make my own at home, I am most likely, like, best case, I'm going to be using homegrown or farmer's market tomatoes. Hunt's grows tomatoes specific for their sauce. They have a vinegar they make specific for their sauce, for their ketchup. They have, it's everything down the line is perfectly theirs. Using the Absolute shot glass for the Bourbon edition tonight. What am I forgetting in the sauce? Let's see here. Is the garlic going in the sauce, or is that going with the? I assume it's going with the bok choy, but. Nope, minced garlic. Yep, it's all going in there. That's a funnier statement than you know. I think you're probably too small of a sample size for him. Okay. Let's go. Garlic. Quit giving me issues. You know, sort of like McDonald's grows potatoes specific for their. Actually, it's sort of the standard in many cases. If McDonald's wants it grown, it becomes the standard because they want so much of it. But they have specific potatoes that they want for their fries and such. Well, it depends on how you look at it. Because there is Tiff. Welcome in, by the way, Tiff. Quite a decent percentage of people who have issues with peanuts. And they have straight up boxes of peanuts in their stores, and they use peanut oil unabashedly for their fries. And so they're sort of turning away a certain percentage just by that. It's sort of weird how that works with food and business. Like, Never compromising for flavor would be using duck fat. Which, since we have a Mary's chicken and duck facility in the county, there's actually, like, you can buy pint containers, you know, like deli containers, pints of duck fat. Yeah, and they still try and sneak beef flavor in there. Oh, this is supposed to be minced. But they didn't use straight beef tallow either. They used, I'm forgetting what. But it was beef tallow infused, oil. And then they switched, because of the whole trans fat thing, they were forced to switch over to using good old American produced soy oil. Just doesn't want to grate. It's alright. This microplane's done plenty of work, great in Parmesan and garlic and other things. So I think we got everything here but our cornstarch and our green onion. I'm going to chop up my green onion here and prep that ahead of time here. A little bit of network lag tonight. Oh, dad joke. Mapped out a plan as far as all the stuff I want to go see, as far as events and all that. I sort of did. Well, actually, I did a pretty thorough one and posted it in the Discord and the TwitchCon channel. But then they have changed things around since I did that. And they have the app available now, which also allows you to do notifications and stuff. And so, like, my answer is yes, but not really, because I haven't redone things in my phone and stuff like that. Like, I would like it to be that I can just see, okay, this, and this are coming up that I was interested in. Let's make a choice. Rather than having to search through everything the entire time. At the same time, I don't want to create a rigid schedule that's going to be, you know, I have to be here, I need to do this, I need to do that. Though I am hoping to catch MCC. I am hoping to catch, what else is there? Like, half of it for me is going and seeing the companies that are there and what they're offering and what they have and what new companies are there. Like, I discovered several things the last TwitchCon I went to in that sense. And a couple of them I wouldn't mind visiting again. Like, there was this Infinite Audio company that was there that I tried out their stuff, and they've given me beta access and all sorts of stuff, and like, it wasn't all that great, but I could see that they still had a core group of people working on it. It could get better over time. Yeah, Tiff. So the green greens of the onion we're gonna use for final garnish. Yeah, they're apparently doing a giant Bob Ross paint along thing. Which, meh. I think that's the first night. I don't remember. I think I'm gonna throw the rest of these in with the actual sauce itself, because I just don't want to waste them. I want to use them. The sauce is going to get a little bit of a cook to break down the sugars and coat the chicken. I am going to do a starch slurry, so I am going to get that set aside ahead of time. And looking, and I don't apparently have a starch cup. It's quite possible they moved to Vegas because of the whole foam pit thing, which it wasn't. It wasn't a foam pit. It was cement floor with some foam blocks on top of it that moved around. I mean, I was already old enough that I looked at like that. I was like, yeah, I'm too old for that. It was like American Gladiators style, like hitting each other with the foam blocks on the ground, but they were like chunks of foam that were oddly shaped and didn't properly cover the whole floor. I don't know how anyone thought that was a good idea. Other than someone not trying to spend money on their show setup. Let's take a look at our cooked rice here. That's looking lovely. Maybe slightly over, but I'm okay with that. Most certainly dances. Well, actually, no, because there was a waiver. They might have gotten out of all of it, but I don't know how it all resulted. Like, yeah, that's exactly the one we're talking about, Michael. At least I think that's who it was. So I grabbed a pack. I didn't think about it when I was in the store. It says 1.5 pounds, and I didn't look exactly what the size of this pack is, so I don't know how much chicken we got here. And I still don't because I threw out the tag. Oh, there it is. Okay, we're just a little under. It's 1.4. I honestly don't know who that is. Other than I know that that name rings a bell as the one that got hurt. And so I'm just going to check these since processed chickens, you tend to find a couple of bone chips on these. That's the main reason I'm getting my cutting board dirty here. I don't plan on really butchering these at all. I just want to make sure I'm not... Oh, one of those actresses, huh? Because otherwise you'd be saying what she acted in. You could have just said that she's a pools and hot tub streamer. Thanks for the lyric buns. I think the recipe says to chop these up and then cook them. I'm gonna sear them and then chop them and maybe toss them back in the pan. I'm definitely gonna toss them in the pan with the sauce, but whether I attempt to sear them further after the first time. Actually, wrong side for this. We're gonna get a nice pan heating up here. Get it nice and hot. How much were those thighs per pound? I don't know. They were thighs per pound. Cooking oil in the pan. But since we've gone to the trouble of getting these out, I am going to Put them skin side up. And we're only going to sear 3 of them at a time here to not overcrowd the pan. So I'm going to salt 3 of them, add 3 of them, salt 2 of them, and add 2 of them. After taking the 3 out. No fresh quality. Welcome in, by the way. I'm going to be chopping it up into about bite-sized pieces after searing it, throwing it back into the pan, heating it with this sauce that I put together earlier, and then we're going to thicken it with some cornstarch. Chicken has been salted. No additional seasoning, but just salt. It is going to be with all of this lovely liquid here, which I'm adding MSG to that too. For those just joining in, this is low sodium soy sauce, chicken stock, brown sugar. If you want the full recipe, it's in the Discord. Hey, that's new and different. Oh yeah, there's a 1/4 cup of bourbon in this too. Thank you, Buns. Buffalo Trace. If you want to make this at home and you don't want to use the bourbon, the recipe also has, you can use the option. I'd recommend non-alcoholic apple cider, but you can use apple juice or apple cider. Non-alcoholic apple cider if you don't want to use bourbon, you don't want to. Salt the other side of this chicken now. I have mods. Thank you for the follow. The captions can be humorous. They think I talk about butts a lot more than I do. Not that I don't talk about butts, but it's just not like a major topic in this chat. It's one of the newer ones. Salting and adding the last two thighs here. Adding the last two upper legs here. Partly, I just can't get this camera to angle down. I could care less about the, like, are you seeing how much above me here there is on this scene? Like, the camera's just putting me center instead of up here. I'm turning down the heat here a little bit because I'm getting a little afraid of how hot that pan is and how smoky it is. You love that sound, huh, chat? Helps if I have the fan on too, huh? That's my favorite sound to make in the entire house. In fact, we're going to turn that fan on high and we're going to turn on a couple other fans. Oops, one more fan too. Salt on this side. And turning the crank in Half-Life 2 reminded me of Myst. Have I dated myself enough now? How we doing over here, YouTube? We happy with tonight's stream? Allow this to cool down for a moment. Come back over here. We're going to chop up these chicken. Yes, it is not cooked all the way through. It's going back in the pan. Sort of curious to see when I travel through LA. I'm planning on going through. Has anyone followed what's going on with Palos Verdes and Rancho Palos Verdes? About them essentially sliding into the ocean? I'm very much intending in taking a detour there. I'm actually staying in Redondo Beach on the way down, which is close by. And the I used to go there to walk all the time. Like when I was living in LA, you know, your options for walking are not all that great, and I didn't really feel like walking around my neighborhood when I lived there. And so I would jump in my car and I would drive down the coast. When I was living in San Pedro, I would drive down the coast, which was a beautiful coastline road, and go down to the Starbucks there, get a coffee, and then go to the nuclear missile site there and walk around that park, you know, at least once a day, if not, you know. And so that was what I used to do when I was there. And that is the exact, like, area they're talking about, like, having, like, issues. Like, you go from there, you go past the Starbucks, or it's either like directly across it or somewhere near there. You have Trump's golf course in LA, and beautiful area. Used to be all Japanese farmland before World War II, and then we displaced all the Japanese during World War II and took all their land and then gave it away as the government was like. The homes there were like homes that they gave to like astronauts and the people that worked in the aerospace industry, because it's all right there in LA. Back then. And so it is not cheap, like no land in LA is cheap, but as far as LA land is concerned, those homes are some of the more like spacious, fancy homes. It's one of those places where they quite seriously, if you're going to build something there, their permitting and requirements for the area require that you put up stakes with flags to show what you're blocking. Yeah, I would not suggest anyone move to LA. Like, if you're trying to make it somewhere, move to New York. I've been to New York and I've been to LA. New York's a much better place trying to make it than LA. Not that either one of them are necessarily all that clean. But LA, you're probably going to be living out of your car. New York, you'll be living out of a closet. The traffic is not, well, it's one of those things where, like, unless you don't live near where you work, it's probably not an issue. But, like, most things in LA, you're gonna be, like, in the surrounding neighborhood thing, most likely. So it's not gonna be, in most cases, like, the valley commute is, like, more, I don't think it's as real as people like to say it is, you know? Alright, flame back on our pan over here. We're gonna go ahead and finish our sauce. Oh, actually, we need to get going with our bok choy here first. Good Mexican food. Not the best, but like I'll take San Francisco over LA for Mexican food. But great Korean food. Like you want good Korean food, LA where you want to go. At least in the US. Probably Japanese too. Oil in the pan with our bok choy. That was a bit heavy on the oil. I'm gonna hit the bok choy with some salt and garlic powder. Everyone talks about, you know, Silicon Valley and San Francisco. Seattle, like they made out like bandits in the tech boom. Like, they sort of were like the hidden underdog. Like, with Microsoft right there. Nice, Dances. Nothing beat Costco's. You mean the shipping company? The step stool company? Hi, Addictive. Those have been sliced in half. They were sold as baby bok choy too. They're quite large for baby bok choy. JK, that's not far off from the olive burger I had that other night, and the cream cheese worked on the burger. Now see, who owns the chili cheese dog? I mean, the olives are going to be more salty and fatty than the onions, but you get what I mean. The cream cheese worked. Interesting, JK. So Skyline ranking higher than either New York Coney or Greek Coney Diner chili. Because, I mean, we all know that Chicago likes putting a salad bar on their hot dogs. Detroit. Multiple places claim to originate the chili dog. Thank you, Google. So those got a little more color than I thought. Still be fine though. This one's a little dark. The rest of these are actually pretty good. I did light salt earlier, but I figure sort of half of that sort of like fell off. You notice how that's like moving as it cooks? We're going to add a little soy sauce in here because it's also going to help steam them, add a bit more moisture to them as well, make them dance a little more. And we're turning the heat off on that pan and we're just letting that coast. They're going to continue to cook, but we're not adding heat to the party. Back over the other side of the stove, we're going to turn that pan back on that we seared the chicken in. We'll add our half-cooked chicken back in the pan here. And scrape up all the good stuff stuck on the bottom here. And I'm at least going to cook this until the chicken's looking like it's starting to dry out a bit, because we're then going to douse it in this. And we want to get as much color as I can get on it before we added the sauce in there. Cabbage. It's more fancy cabbage buns. You'll love it. Oops. You know, JK, a chili cheese dog may be one of the few times that I'm like, yeah, we don't need beans in this party. Chili cheese dogs, we don't need beans in that party either. But if you give me a cup of chili in a diner, especially if you're feeding me saltines, I think I want some beans. Sorry. I'm stirring up the brown sugar in with the sauce here, trying to get it all so it'll pour together nicely into the chicken together. Alright, sauce going into this pan. Now that we've got some nice color going, things are starting to look a little drier. That bourbon try and flare up on me there? I didn't think about that. I figured there was way too much other stuff there to worry about that. And I'm going to add our slurry to this mixture. Cold water. In with some cornstarch. Don't hang up on me, game. Computer. I don't know what's causing that. Something's... And I don't know what's giving me the notification, which is even more annoying, but I'm getting a notification that something's disconnecting from OBS, which is probably not great for OBS. Or my stream. But it's not giving me an info as to what's getting disconnected. Which is probably the bot, but I just don't know. Alright, so we got our lovely mixture nice and hot and boiling. Cold starch, slurry, and blending that in. Just add a little thickness to that sauce. As you can see, it's starting to ribbon a little bit. The bubbles are getting bigger and harder to pop. I think that's a good place to stop there. I'm not going to add any more. This is one of those things you want to make sure you don't overdo it. It's easy to turn this into jelly. And turn the heat off on that. Yeah, Tiff, I have some gremlins in my stream. I keep trying to find them, but they've proven to be rather elusive. They're rather aloof, too. So we're adding rice to a cup here. Do I ever season my rice? There's chicken stock and seasoning in here. It's sort of weird. Chat either thinks I don't season anything, or they think I'm incredibly way too salty. I'm not too salty, am I, chat? So we're adding our bok choy here with the slightly crispy leaf. Bok choy is a good braising green. You definitely need to cook it a bit in order to get it to be tasty. Spices, you definitely want to add a lot of spices. When you're boiling things, a lot of things you want to add them after you've boiled them. And so if you're seasoning your rice, you want to season it after other than adding salt and, in my case, some sort of flavoring to the liquid broth itself. It doesn't even really come through great, the flavor of the broth into rice, but it is better than water. It's certainly flavoring. I think it depends on if your term seasoning requires seasoning to be dry. Sauce and chicken. You see how slow that sauce spreads because we added the cornstarch. Yeah, let's do the proper full. This is 2 servings, according to the setup here. Give it 2 servings of sauce, too. Oh, we're definitely doing sesame seed. Sesame seed to start over the chicken. Rice out. And green onion over everything. That was one of my, that might be one of my gripes about cooking, is I like green onion. Don't get me wrong, but green onion has to be the laziest garnish on earth. Everyone uses green onion as a garnish, and it in no way impresses me on a restaurant plate. But now that I've had that rant, this looks gorgeous. I agree with you, felines. Oh, definitely, JK. Let's grab some photos. Take some pictures. Share my creation with the world. And the recipe is not going to disappear from the recipes channel if anyone would like to give this a shot. themselves. Bot's tried a couple of times to do scramble. I haven't seen anyone playing though. This is a fun dinner tonight, chat. I am gonna try and do cook-alongs in the future, and I will try to get recipes out there a little bit earlier next time. Like maybe I'll think up a couple and have them ready for starting. And actually Mondays are probably gonna be, if we continue, because I gotta throw that question up here. That's gonna be a question for the Discord while I'm gone on TwitchCon, as well as maybe this. What days do we want to be streaming here? I had to switch from Tuesdays to Mondays this summer, and that is ending here very quickly. So I want to know which day I should stream, whether it's Monday, Tuesday. Should I be streaming Thursdays? Should I be streaming Saturdays? I'm not going to stream the entire weekend, chat. I'm not giving up my entire weekend. But I do enjoy hanging out with all of you, and thank you for joining me. I'm going to go and enjoy this. I'll be back here on Wednesday to make cookies. I'm going to be making dinner too, but cookies are going to be in the main show. I'm probably just making chicken and rice as far as dinner. So Wednesday's going to be an interesting, different stream from normal. I hope you come to join in for that. Otherwise, I'm going to TwitchCon, so it's going to be a week from Wednesday until I am back. Thank you all for joining in with me tonight. I hope you have an amazing start to your week. Good night.